Okay, go.
Alright, Perry, this is like the 5th video I've had to make because people keep interrupting. But this is your machine, basically what yours should look like. Alright, rubber bands I'll leave on here, I'll explain why, you just leave them on there. This is your armature bar. This right here, this piece that's connected to your armature bar is actually called your spring. Okay. This is your contact point. This piece right here that goes all the way through is called your contact point. This piece is just a set screw to set your contact point. It makes contact and goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is your rubber grommet. It has to be in behind the spring to create more tension. Alright. Rubber bands I'm going to move for now. I'm going to show you why. Okay. This is your grip. I like all my stuff is stainless steel. You can use aluminum or plastic. Yours are probably aluminum, the ones you got. That's what they look like. This one's actually really heavy. I like them heavier because my machine is really heavy. It's all steel and chromed out, so it's actually really heavy. This balances it out on my front end. That's why I like it. You have 2 set screws. It doesn't really matter which way you want to aim it. I always look at my 2 lines. That's the front, that's the back. It doesn't matter though. This is your back tube. It's a stainless steel piece, about 2.5 inches long, just a shaft with, hollow. This goes at the back, obviously, hence the name back tube. Alright, this is your tip. I don't normally use stainless steel tips. I use their plastic tips and disposable, but for this purpose I'm just going to show you with this one. This piece right here is called the cup. Alright, the cup is where a lot of the ink is actually stored once you dip it, and every time your needle cycles back in, it grabs a little extra ink and sends it out and stabs somebody and puts ink in their skin. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this together. All you need to know about the tip is the cup should be about 1/4 of an inch on the outside of the end of your tip, or the end of your grip rather. It should look like this. Alright, the back tube doesn't matter, put it in there about 1/4, 1/2 inch, whatever. Just get your set screw and then tighten your set screw down, and that's put together. Because this is the 3rd video, I've already taken the needle out of the package. This is a 7-round liner. Normally they're straight. This one's already bent, and I'll explain why I've bent it. But when you look at it, the bottom side of your needle, the needles are actually soldered on the bottom side of your main shaft, right? This is the bottom. This should go on bottom. This should be on top. And if you notice back here, this circle, that's where your nipple goes. This is your nipple. You may have some other style nipples. I don't like those. I like these. They're easy to get on and off without a pain in the butt. So once you find the bottom side of your needle right here, go ahead and stick your nipple through the end of the needle. Just look like this. I've already bent it, so I'm not going to bend it again, but you bend it down. Like I'm holding it, bend it down slightly. If you notice, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it's not bent a great deal. It's slightly bent. Alright, there's a reason for that, and I'll explain it. Alright, slide it in from the back tube first, needle in. Best way, don't try to force it through. Just set it in there and turn it up and let gravity feed it through. Okay? Now, you're going to pick up your machine. This piece should already be loose where this hole is opened up. You can slide your nipple and all straight through. Slide it up in there till the nipple comes to the armature bar, and slide the nipple right over the top of the armature bar and squeeze it down to where it's flush. That's good hold. It's not going to slip off. Alright, now when setting it, line it up to where your cup is level, parallel with your machine like this. You don't want it over here. You don't want it there. You want it up, because ink will spill out if it's not. Alright, and I don't know how well you can see the tip of this needle, but it's out about 1 millimeter. That's all you want it sticking out when your machine's not running, because when it runs, it's going to go out even further. You don't want to bury it to somebody's spine, but you want it to go in the skin. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down. Nice and snug. Alright, now the reason you bend the needle is every one of these holes, this is made for a 7-round liner, but it's a little bigger, so they leave room so it doesn't grind on the sides and wear your tips out. Alright, this, if you leave it like it is, a straight needle with nothing on it, what it's going to do is that needle could go out anywhere inside that little area. It seems like that doesn't matter, but it actually does. If you don't know exactly where your needle's coming out of the tip, you could, instead of making a line here, the line could be over a little bit, and that's not good, especially on small detailed stuff. So when you bend it, then you take your rubber bands, you slide them over just like that. It always comes out at the base of the tip. Always. It always slides out the base of the tip. I use 3 rubber bands. I've seen people use 1 or 2. 1 breaks and you're screwed. You could mess up a line really bad. 2 is safer. 3 ain't going nowhere. That's just why I use 3 rubber bands. They need to have a little bit of tension. They don't need to be bearing down on it like it's bending the needle like really bad, but they need to have a little tension to them. You know. Alright, that's that. Alright, here is my power supply. And my power supply is I can't even think of what I'm trying to say now. My power supply is what's known as a 10-turn. It's a high quality power supply. It's not like top of the line, but it's a solid power supply. This is my clip cord, and Brandy has zoomed down on my foot down here. This is the foot pedal. They're already hooked up. My machine's not on. Alright, you slide in there and in there. You'll have a hole on each side. One side's connected to your capacitor. It doesn't matter which. They'll work either way. One's a hot, one's a ground. It's universal. Stick it wherever you want to, like this, and it'll work. Turn on the power to my power supply. You don't really want to go real super high with it. That's plenty high if you can hear that. That's enough to do a really good looking tattoo. It's going to make good lines for you. It's not going to fail at all. Mine is a 12 wrap coil. Of course, I've told you that before, but there is a total different sound between mine. I need to adjust it just a little bit because it don't sound. There we go. That's the sound I want to hear with mine. Alright, mine, like I said, my machine's heavy, my grip's heavy. It sits perfectly like this, balanced, because my grip is so heavy. You may want to try that depending on how heavy your machine is itself. This works for me. I like this. I have actually some smaller grips. They're stainless steel, but they're a lot smaller. I don't like them as much. I like the bigger grip because this allows me, when I'm doing a tattoo, to set it where I need it, and I can hold on to it and do the tat. That's that. Let me this is another one of my machines. These are 10 wrap coils. And this little tinker toy is what I started out with. This has 8 wrap coils. Now, I'll let you hear, let me break this one back down. I'll let you hear the difference between all 3. That way you'll kind of know there is a huge difference in the sound of the machine. Alright, I'll start off with an 8 wrap coil. These are, like I say, you can do tattoos with these, but they're more like toys than anything. Sound like a pissed off little bumblebee to me. But whatever. I keep them because if the coils go out in this and this at the same time, which is possible, highly unlikely, but it's possible, I can still finish the tattoo with this. Just might take me a little longer. Alright, this is my 10 wrap coil. This is what you have. This is what yours are generally going to sound like. Sound a lot better. It doesn't sound like a toy. It actually sounds like something professional, which a lot of pros actually use 10 wrap coils. And then my 12 wrap coil. it hits a lot harder. It causes me to have to do less work. That's why I like the 12 wrap coil. I'm actually going to take this one and buy some 12 wrap coils and a capacitor and put in here, and it doesn't cost you but like 20 bucks. And that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to just swap it out and make it a 12 wrap machine too. These are actually too small. If you look, they're not universal in size. There is a difference in the length down here on these that won't allow me to put a 12 wrap inside this. 8 wrap are generally shorter and fatter. These are long and skinny. These are about the same length as 10 wrap, but they're a lot fatter, and that's just why they hit a lot harder. Alright, if you have any more questions, just call me and just send me a picture or whatever. Do what?
Does he know how to read the needles?
I already explained to him how to read the needles. Let me actually show you that since Brandy brought it up. I'm not going to open it because I don't want to waste one. But these are my 7 mags. They're stacked mags. They're not in line like yours are. And I don't know how well Brandy can see this, but my mags look like this. This is 7 needles. Alright, I'm going to explain to you with my hand. Alright, say these are the 4 needles on the bottom, and there are 3 needles on top. They all intersect like this, but they bevel out like this. So these 3 on top bevel upward, these 4 on the bottom kind of stay straight. So there's a gap in between them, and this allows you to, when you're gray washing, to go dark and light. It's so much easier. That's why I use the stack mags when I'm gray washing. I use flat mags, your inline mags like you have, when I'm coloring in large pieces. They tend to work a lot better. That's it. If you got any more questions, just call me. Oh, let me show you this. What I was talking about earlier. These are my tips that I use. They're disposable. You can get, I think I got 500 for 10 bucks. They're assorted. They're the sizes I needed. I like to use these because I don't have to worry about cleaning these. The only thing I have to clean is, well, number one, my machine, clean it down. Alright, then since I throw away the tip, not this one, but I throw away my disposable tips, all I have to clean is my grip and my back tube. That's it. I don't have to clean anything else. You need to, if you don't have like a pressure cooker or an autoclave, which you need an autoclave, but you can do like I do. All I do, I boil them twice. I boil them completely down with water twice. That kills anything. And then after I get through boiling them down, I take and put alcohol on these right here, these little pipe cleaners. And generally what I do is, because they're so thin, I bend them down, put alcohol in them, and run them through just to sterilize them before I put them in a bag and zip lock them up. If they sit for, if you don't do a tattoo for a month or so and you go to do one, even though they've been cleaned and sterilized before, when you get them out to do a tattoo, go ahead and just take some alcohol and run it through it again, just to be sure, because even though you sealed it up clean, it could still possibly get a little something on it. It's not going to have any bacteria or anything like that, but there could be something on it that could possibly get somebody sick or infected or just mess up the tattoo altogether, and you don't want to do that. So that's just generally what I do as just a rule of thumb for safety. Even if I've cleaned it and sterilized it, I still run some alcohol through it before I use it. And that's it. If you got any questions, just call me, let me know. I'll do my best to help. See you.